Member for Public Realm. Please note that this meeting will be recorded for broadcast on the internet after the meeting has taken place and can be viewed online at the Council's YouTube website. Generally, the public gallery is not filmed, but by entering the meeting room and using the public seating area, you are consenting to being filmed. There's no one there. This evening, there are 6 delegated decisions to be taken, one by Councillor Legg, Cabinet Member for Regulatory Services, and I will be taking 5 decisions, which might be the most decisions I've taken in one night so far. The last 2 of this evening's decisions contain confidential annexes. This means I will need to resolve to exclude the public and press by virtue of paragraph 3, information relating to the financial or business affairs of the authority, Part 1 of Schedule 12A of the Local Government Act 1972, but we'll only move into private session if I decide to discuss the contents of the annexes or there are questions from councillors that require the disclosure of information contained within the annexes. Should this happen, I will ask those not entitled to be present to leave the meeting and the recording will cease. In addition to myself and any other councillors who have decided to join the meeting, a number of senior officers, together with legal service-based colleagues and democratic service colleagues, are also in attendance either online or at Civic. Can I ask anyone who has joined us online to switch off their microphones and cameras when not speaking, please? And for those in the room, please ensure you turn your microphone off when speaking. Supply of the papers for this meeting is available on the Modern Gov pages of Milton Keynes Council website. I've not received notification of any members of the public who have registered to speak. I have been advised that Councillor D. Hopkins and Councillor Lancaster have registered to speak at item 1, adoption of Milton Keynes Playing Pitch Strategy 25-26. For any other councillors who have joined the meeting, which currently is none, let me know if you want to speak. Can I remind councillors that any contributions should not exceed 3 minutes and are for speaking about the merits of the decision, not to serve as a formal question and answer session. The decision sheet will be published on the modern.gov pages of the council's website tomorrow, which will be Wednesday the 25th of March 2026. And I shall now pass to Councillor Legg for his decision.
And that will give you a few minutes to get your breath back after all that. Okay, we're here to look at the adoption of Milton Keynes Playing Pitch Strategy 25-26. The current Playing Pitch Strategy expired in 2020, and this should be also considered alongside the sports strategy, which was adopted recently, which talks about building on the relationship between clubs and the council and access to sport for all. Back in 2024, we appointed a consultant whose name is Knight Kavanagh and Page to look at all our existing provision of playing pitches and any shortfall provision, the quality of pitch provision. It's all done in line with Sport England guidance for local authorities and updating the PPS. So this is a result of that piece of work. It's probably the most robust pitch strategy I can remember, certainly in my 20-something years in this area of the council. And I'm happy to take comments and questions prior to adoption. David, I know you registered fairly early. Did you want to start?
Thank you indeed, Mick, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. It's very difficult under the, well, I consider the new rules, you're not allowed to ask questions, so I'm going to try and phrase things that don't appear to be questions, so they are comments. You've probably seen by the information I sent in advance of the meeting that we do in Wavingdon question some of the statistics and some of the assertions made within the document, and I've raised this with you before, and I was at the sports strategy launch, as you recall, both of them, and raised the same questions there. And I know it's far too late in the process to bring those points forward, and we'll have to wait until the next time round. So what I would like to do, if I could, and I know we're coming very close to local elections, is to invite you as a cabinet member or your successor, if you find you can't do it before May the 7th, your successor may well be you, to come out to Wavingdon with a senior officer to go through the points that we're raising, look at the facilities we have in the village and the points we're trying to raise, and how we can actually bring those points forward and enhance the facilities, both for the people who are living there today in the much increased population of Wavendon, but also those who are going to be moving into Wavendon when the South East Milton Keynes development area comes forward. So that's really my question, if you like, is would you and or your successor and a senior officer come out to Wavendon and to go through the points that we've raised within the documentation?
Thank you for that, David. I wasn't obviously going to attempt to answer a 6-page document received 24 hours prior to the meeting this evening, but I am very happy for officers to provide an initial response, so you have it prior to the election. I think that would only be right and proper. And then, as you say, we can, depending on what happens with the good people of Milton Keynes and ourselves, then we can look to arrange something after the election. I'm very happy to do that. James.
Just for a point of clarification, it's a 4-page document, not a 6-page document.
There's 6 pages on my phone.
Oh, well, there we are.
Lovely. Thank you, Mick. So having reviewed the document, I'm not in the same agreement as Councillor Hopkins. I think that it's quite clear that we have before us, which I think is probably the very best Milton Keynes strategy that we've had when it comes to sport and also playing pitches that we can achieve so far. And as you've said, it is something that we can always keep adhering to, and it is going to be reviewed on a yearly basis. To me, I think it really does demonstrate the council's ambition and also their commitment to strengthening working with community structure, as you've mentioned, working with community groups, and also making sure that we've got pitches that are suitable and can be playable in Milton Keynes for years to come. I wish I could say it's always going to be the best, but as we know, weather in this country is always a factor, and also maintenance is costly on certain pitches as well. So, as I've said with the strategy, it's not just a technical document. It does say on policy N97 and N98 that we as a council need to develop a new strategy on sporting pitches across Milton Keynes, and that's something that we're doing for the future. And as N98 says, on looking into innovative ways to maximise potential of leisure and sport assets. It does show that Milton Keynes City Council is serious about ensuring every resident, from our youngest players all the way up to oldest walking football teams, for instance, that they've got access to high quality, well-maintained and future-proof sporting facilities. It's a kind of long-term strategic thinking that we've always asked for in Milton Keynes, apart from, and this sets us apart from other places, in my opinion. It's positive, it's forward-looking, and it recognises the role of sport in building stronger neighbourhoods, stronger commitment to teams, improving well-being, and fostering pride in our local areas. And that's exactly the kind of work that a modern, ambitious city should be delivering. So I just want to place on record my sincere thanks to yourself as a Cabinet Member, Councillor Legg, and also in ensuring that the strategy is not only robust, but generally is community-focused. And I also extend equal thanks to the officers who've expertised in this, but as I know, obviously, there's the consultation work, there's the attention to detail, and it's very evidential throughout the whole pages that I've read. And I can see the efforts that have been done to produce a strategy that is both practical and visionary. So it'll serve the city for many years to come, in my opinion. It also highlights the strength of local facilities, and I'm proud to say that Tattenhall stands as a shining example of what good planning and sustained investment can achieve. The playing fields over there are in great condition, the green spaces are in great condition, and the much valued Tattenhall Pavilion plus the 4G pitch there are not just amenities, but they're a place where they bring people together, support the grassroots sports, and they embody the very spirit of what your playing pitches strategy is showing to do. So my ask really is simple, that we consider the recommendations before us and no doubt recognise the significance of this work for future years to come. We've needed a strong structure for this for so long, and not only is it now here, but it's adaptive to build towards a better Milton Keynes. So it's a proud and positive moment for the city, and I would be one that will be proud to support this.
Thank you. It should also be noted as well, this isn't, no one's got any illusions. This isn't a silver bullet to all our problems. We're well aware of that. There's a lot of work to be done with sports and their governing bodies and local communities. Just looking through some of the shortfalls and projected shortfalls that the strategy sets out, there are some real challenges to be addressed over the 10-year course of the plan. as James says, this is going to be reviewed annually, but we're already in discussions with the likes of the English Cricket Board, Bucks Cricket, the Lawn Tennis Association, the Football Foundation, Sport England. There are a lot of sporting bodies who actually want to invest in Milton Keynes, so that will sit alongside this piece of work. Mel, did you want to add anything?
So only that this document will provide the evidence that will attract investment, hopefully, into Milton Keynes with all of those bodies that you've just mentioned, and that those bodies were heavily involved in the production of this. So quite a lot of the data came from those bodies in the first instance. So we're very satisfied it's a robust document that's been thoroughly quality controlled by Sport England. Thank you, Councillor.
And the fact it's been signed off by Sport England actually speaks volumes, because a national governing body would not could not sign it off if they weren't happy with it. That said, I welcome the comments, and I should particularly thank Leslie Wilson and Kelly Sutton for all their work on this over a number of years. And Leslie is actually just about to retire from the council finally, as her leaving due tomorrow. So I shall pop along and say goodbye to her. She's been an absolute stalwart ever since I've been on this authority through 2 stints, and the work she's done recently over the leisure contract and now this, I think should be recognised. So that said, I'm going to formally adopt the strategy. Thank you, and I'll pass back to Councillor Wilson-Marquis.
Thank you very much, Councillor Legg. Councillor Legg. Item 2 has been withdrawn. Item 3 is the Community Infrastructure Fund for 2026-2027. This is one of my favourite delegated decisions each year. It's an opportunity for parishes and local organisations to put forward projects that they would like to deliver to the local communities. This year's has actually been a real joy. Often there's an awful lot of kind of SIDS or traffic calming measures or benches, but we've got a huge variety of projects that have been brought forward this year, and I really wanted to pull out just a few of those just for the people in the room, because I'm sure you'd like to stay for as long as possible. I really like toddler play equipment at Bletchley and Fenny Stratford Town Council, something that makes a big difference to parents. Great Linford Parish Council want to install some statues. Olney Town Council would like to have some new toilets and a changing area. Wavendon Parish Council would like some solar panels. I very much approve. And Wolverton and Greenleys Town Council are doing a tapestry garden. I'm not sure what that is, but I'm looking forward to seeing it. Would any councillors like to speak? No? Fab. Is there anything officers would like to add to this? I don't see Rachel. Rachel's online. Rachel, is there anything you'd like to add?
No, thank you.
Great. I shall make that decision now, like this. Okay, decision 1. Item 4 is the provision of managed investigation services. This is bringing together, so we currently have CCTV in the city. We use a company called Crime Wave to deliver a lot of that. I was very lucky actually to go and see them put up a CCTV camera on a light column the other day. And because we've installed new LED lighting, it's really easy to install those and it's really easy to move them around, which means we should be, making the most of that capacity and capability. This will bring together all of the different CCTV services, well, not quite all of them, most of the CCTV services that we deliver across the city, including public transport. And we'll be using it for public transport services, we'll be using it for fly tipping, and we'll be using it for environmental crime, graffiti, that kind of thing. And we will be delegating decisions around the deployment of those services. Do any councillors wish to speak? Councillor Hopkins.
Just very, very briefly, is there a way within the contract that junior councils, parish councils and town councils, for example, could feed into this contract, take advantage of CCTV services from the benefit of this contract, maybe purchase or lease equipment from Crime Wave, just to extend the use of the contract, and so that there's continuity of supplier, not just from the city council's perspective, but also at a junior council perspective as well.
I'm going to pass that one over to Nick Hannon.
Thank you, Councillor. At the moment, this is the proposal to go out for a new CCTV contract, a managed investigation service. We can consider having a discussion with our procurement department about whether or not we would want that to be a framework which we procure as part of the contract notice to include parish and town councils. So they could potentially draw down on a wider collective sum. So, for example, if we get a price, then obviously that would be a potential price that could be drawn down from by parish and town councils. At the moment, of course, parish and town councils have got their own procurement regulations and they're free to engage the market as they do so. But we recognise that with the current contract and the current contractor, that parish and town councils have been working with the same one. So there could be an opportunity to create a framework, and we'll include that when we work with the procurement team to see if that could be included for them to draw down on that as a framework. Thank you, Councillor.
The camera that I saw being installed was one that was being paid for and asked for by a parish. So yeah, I think that's a really important thing to retain if possible. Thank you. Do I have any other people that would like to speak? Any officers that would like to add anything? No, fab. I'll make that decision. So that's decision 2. And it now gets complicated. So the next decision I'm making is the recycling infrastructure contract procurement decision. Yeah, so this is bringing together our waste service procurement. This is something that we have to do. It's going to deliver, I think, around 300,000 in savings, and actually having a balanced budget requires us to make sure this happens, but it's also a really positive thing. It means that as we move forward, we're going to be able to procure our waste services. We're going to be able to have those delivered as a single service. Would you like to add anything, any of the members we have here from the waste team?
Thank you, Councillor. Just to say that we brought this forward for pre-decision scrutiny quite a while ago when we proposed the big 3 waste contracts. So that was Milton Keynes Waste Recovery Park, the Environmental Services contract, and the Recycling Infrastructure contract, bringing together what is the Household Waste Recycling Centre contract and all of our Waste Transfer Station contract, which is the legacy materials recycling contract. So yes, thank you very much, Councillor. This will be levelling up all of our recycling infrastructure to be in parity with the big environmental services contract and the big MKWRP contract, and they will be the trinity of waste contracts moving forward. Thank you.
Do I have any councillors that would like to speak on this one? No? Okay, I'm very happy to make that decision. Where do I sign? There's the dotted line, right? Okay, and then we have the Recycling and Reuse Centre Construction Contract Award. And this decision is about the delivery, the construction of the new household waste recycling centres. So the I want to say super park, but I don't want to like oversell it. So this is about the contract to build the new 359. Thank you. I just keep skipping past it. This is about just delivering the HWRC. So this will be who builds it, who delivers it, who makes it happen. Would you like to add anything? Any of the team who've been working really closely on this?
Thank you very much.
I believe this may be an item that draws pink papers, and decisions would need to be made before further discussion on if this is to be held in private.
Does anyone wish? Sorry, yeah. There's a bit I should have read, sorry, about the fact that if we do want to talk about anything that's on the pink papers, we will need to resolve to exclude public and press by virtue of paragraph 3. Thank you for the reminder. Apologies. Does anybody wish to raise anything that is on those pink papers? No? Okay. Thank you very much. Nick.
Thank you. Just to confirm, this is the construction award for our reuse recycling centre, the next evolutionary step from what were our household waste recycling centres, which were our civic amenity sites, which were just colloquially known as the dump before that. So a huge infrastructure step for us, really. And yes, the construction award that's being brought together by the team will start seeing that to become a reality. So that will be the one serving the north, and we'll see the rationalisation of the two smaller sites elsewhere in the borough and the replacement with what will become hopefully a super site reuse recycling centre. Thank you.
Been really nice to see this go from an idea, from a kind of conversation, going and seeing examples of what this can look like in reality, having conversations with local people and spending a lot of time working with local people to understand the challenges and the things that we can do to make their lives better, to now being at the point where hopefully we're going to have spades in the ground very soon. Spades in the ground, shovels in the ground, diggers in the ground, something in the ground to dig the ground up and then do other things with it. Are there any councillors that wish to speak on this item? Councillor Townsend.
Yeah, very simple. Just to say, as a frequent flyer to I wouldn't call it a dump, I'd call it a tip. Maybe it's like a regional thing, I don't know. But as a frequent flyer to our tip, I'm very excited for this because we go to the tip multiple times a year. Having a busy house that's full of stuff that we're always doing clear outs of and an allotment, etc. So very excited to see upgraded facilities. Very excited that we will be bringing back, anyone who grew up in Milton Keynes knows that there used to be like reuse shops on site. My dad used to take me to the tip just so he could go through the boxes of vinyl. So like it used to be a thing and then it kind of was got rid of. So I'm very excited that that's being brought back. And I do think this is a good thing. It's good that we continue to modernise those facilities that are free to use for all of our residents.
Thank you very much, Councillor Townsend. I'm very happy to make that decision. So I think that moves us on to our final decision. Again, I'll need to resolve to exclude the public and press by virtue of paragraph 3 of part 1 of Schedule 12A of the Local Government Act 72, but only but will only move into private session if I decide to discuss the contents of the annex, or there are questions from councillors that require the disclosure of information contained within the annex. Should this happen, I will ask those not entitled to be present to leave the meeting and the recording will cease. Does anyone wish to raise anything that is contained within the pink papers? That's good. We shall proceed. So this is the award for the preferred. Oh, I should have said what it was before I said all of that. It's the award of preferred supplier for Milton Keynes Waste Recovery Park. Given what I just said, does anybody now wish to talk about the pink papers? No, we still don't want to talk about the pink papers. That's great. Okay. So this is I think this is a really exciting decision. It's one I'm very pleased to be making. This is around the delivery of the Waste Recovery Park services. This is about maximising capacity. So this is taking control of those services and control of how those services are delivered and managed in terms of maximising capacity of what that can do. And that includes bringing other people into the city to take advantage and be able to use those services. That it brings a kind of a focus onto energy security. So this is a site that generates currently electricity. It creates enough, generates enough electricity for 11,000 properties. It could generate enough heat for 40,000 homes. And actually, if we were to take the energy that is generated from the gasification process and turn that into gas, we could probably meet if that happened across the country, that would generate 30 to 40% of the gas needs of the country, and that gas would be carbon neutral. It would have no kind of negative impact in that way. And so I think that demonstrates that Milton Keynes had the foresight to build this facility. We've had the foresight to maintain and optimize that facility, and we're now taking that forward to really make sure that we're getting best value for residents, that we're having a really positive environmental impact, and we are leaning into the circular economy And also it's about making sure that we're taking that energy and we are using it locally first. So that energy is going to be used for residents of Milton Keynes. It's going to be used for the benefit of Milton Keynes. I think that's a really positive thing. The winning bid is a really good bid. The people who have been doing those assessments have rated it as a really good bid. The people who are delivering, who have proposed the bid, have a good track record. They have lots of experience, and I think the team have a lot of confidence that they will be able to deliver those services to a really high standard. They are an innovator in the field. Do I have any questions? Sorry, I should have asked first if any officers wanted to add anything. Sorry. No? Fab. Okay, then I am very pleased to be making that decision. And that decision is the final decision of the evening. And I am happy to draw this meeting to a close at 18:27. Thank you very much.